Desikan, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a brand new launch by Lakme. I just recently saw on their Instagram page that they launched a brand new foundation with 16 shade options, and so I was like, I have to get to a counter and test it out for myself and see what are the shade options that they have. So I went ahead and got my hands on this product. This is their Lakme 9 to 5 Primer Plus Matte Perfect Cover Foundation. Now this one retails for 475 rupees and you get 25 ml of product. Now the standard quantity of a foundation is 1 fluid ounce, that is 30 ml of product, so you get 25 ml in this for 475 rupees, which I do feel is a little bit pricey. Now anyways, because it's Lakme, you have to talk about their shade range. It's come in 16 different shades, which is a really good thing because for so many years Lakme has been launching just like 3 shades or 5 shades of foundation, with all of them looking very similar to each other. There are no deeper shades, and it's like all the shades are really light even for my skin tone, and I've never found a perfect match for myself in any of the Lakme foundations. Their lightest shade being Cool Ivory and their darkest shade being Cool Cocoa. I think they've tried to play with different undertones like cool undertones, warmer undertones, and also neutral undertones. But when I went ahead to the store and swatched it for myself, I found that there was no difference in terms of undertone, and almost all the foundations were looking really similar. There were a few neutral tones in my opinion, and they were really warm shades, but there was nothing cool in the swatches I saw. At least I asked her to show me a lot of shade options, and I was not able to differentiate which one was the cool undertone foundation. And I did try out a couple of different shades on myself. The shade being warm beige, that is W240. I tried that shade. I tried 220 neutral medium, and then she also tried N200, that is neutral nude. Now all of these shades were very similar. Neutral nude, neutral medium, warm beige were very similar in shade, and so I was not very happy with the match. It was sort of a little bit light for my skin tone, and I was not very happy with it. So I went ahead and got the shade C300, which is Cool Cinnamon. I am someone who's not of a cool undertone for sure. I'm someone with really like stark warm undertones in my skin. So if I have to match a foundation, I have to do it so to my neck. But this foundation is, as you guys can see, a little bit dark. Now when you look at it when you look at it on screen, and because there's camera, there are lights and there's a shadow that's playing, my neck looks a lot darker than it is in real. So it might look like the foundation is matching me pretty well. It's actually a little bit dark, and I was willing to take that risk to see how this dark shade is on my skin tone. So I'm not very disappointed with the shade as such. I'm pretty happy with it, and I did see a few darker shades as well. So if you are of a deeper skin tone than I am, like NC 43 or 45, I think you can still find a shade for yourself, which is in this day not a big thing, but in Lakme's perspective it is a big thing because they've never launched shades, I think, after like NC 30 or something like that. So any foundation would only suit people of really fair skin tones, and there was nothing in it for people with deeper skin tones. At least now you can find a shade for yourself. So that's everything I wanted to talk about this shade. Now coming to the packaging itself, this is how the bottle looks like. It's a really nice, I want to say like a frosted glass bottle, and when you open it, it comes with a spatula just similar to this foundation which they have, that is the Lakme Invisible Finish Foundation. Now I've already reviewed this and compared this to the Wet n Wild foundation, so if you guys want to see a review on this, you can go ahead with that review. So that's how the packaging looks like. Even this foundation comes with that kind of spatula applicator. So that is everything I wanted to talk about. Now I'll take you guys through the demo of this video and then get back to you with the final thoughts on this product, and also I will be giving you guys check-ins to show you guys how it looks. So yeah, now let's get to the demo. So on this side of my face, I'm going to be using a sponge with this foundation, and on this side of my face I'm going to be using a brush. I'm just going to be doing it this way to show you guys how this foundation works with 2 different application process, because a sponge usually absorbs a little more product than usual, and I want to show you guys how the coverage is and all that. So let's get started. So I'm going to be applying a generous amount because this foundation is pretty runny. Like I'm taking how much ever I can in the first application and blending it. Using the sponge of choice, I'm going to be using is my LA Girl sponge. This is my trusted sponge. I know how it works. Sponge is not going to change the way the foundation works. So this one applies pretty well. It doesn't absorb too much product. Okay, as you guys can see, this foundation is a little bit dark for me. I mean, it's a little on the orange side, but I insisted that they give me a darker shade because the other shade was a little too light. I tried the shade Warm Beige, She also tried another shade on me which was a little too light. So this is how it looks with, like, if I take like that whatever product was on the spatula and applied it, this is how the coverage would be with the sponge. So I'm just going to try to build it up just a little more to see how it looks. Just a little more. I mean, this is a lot actually, but I just want to see how the product builds up. Actually giving me pretty decent coverage. If you guys can see, it's blending out really well. It's very smooth. It's not like caking up on my skin. It's not like clinging on to anything, and it's not like very hard to blend like some of the foundations are. And it's actually covering up this spot on my face pretty well. Not to a very full coverage extent, but I think it's like a medium to buildable coverage. So now on this side of my face, I'm going to be trying it out with a brush, and the brush of choice I'm going to be using is this brush I got from the Pune store brush set. This is again a really good brush. I've used it a lot of times and I know how it works. So again, I'm taking a very generous amount. Whatever is there in the spatula and how much of a product is coming out, I'm going to be using that much. The only thing I don't like is the spatula is a little bit flimsy though. Like, it just bends a lot. It's not like the Wet n Wild applicator where it's a little bit sturdy. Because the foundation is pretty runny, no matter which brush you use, as you guys can see, the brush is getting really wet. That is because the foundation is pretty runny, and so what happens is it actually gets a little bit streaky. So what you have to do in that scenario is like stipple the product into your skin to remove any of those brush streaks, or you can probably go ahead with the sponge later. Actually, with the brush I got the same coverage as I got, I think a little more coverage than I got with the sponge. I mean, I've applied the product twice with the sponge and I try to build it up, and I feel like I got that same coverage when I used it with the brush. It's covered up this spot on my face entirely, and I really like the coverage I get with the brush. Yeah, so far so good. I'm just going to try to build it up just a little more, not taking too much product like how I did with the sponge, just a little more in places where I feel like I need a little more coverage, just a little bit, because I've already got pretty good coverage with this. It's blending out in no time, actually pretty easy as well. So this is how it looks. This side the sponge and this side the brush. So now I'm not going to be like doing the makeup off camera. I just want to show you guys how the products sit on this. So I'm going to be using my usual products. So now I'm going to be applying blush, because cream products work with anything, but just powder you have to see. The blush I used is Wet n Wild Mellow Wine. It's a matte blush. And I'm going to be like just setting my face with this L'Oreal Infallible Makeup Extender Setting Spray. The reason I'm doing this is because I want the foundation to sit well. I usually always like set my face with any makeup spray or any face mist, just because I don't want the foundation to look a little bit cakey, and that's what I would do usually. So I just want to see if that helps this foundation out, if that makes any difference in it stuff. And then for highlight, I'm taking the Balm Body Luminizer. It came completely shattered, and that's the reason it looks like that. Here it looks good. So this is how my face looks right now with my makeup done, and I'll get back to you guys with final take on my product. I'll be back. Now, as you guys saw from the demo, I really like the consistency of this, where it is kind of runny, so it gives you that time to work with the foundation. You don't have to be really quick. It's not drying down on your face, so you can take your time and blend it out. And I would say that you can use a sponge over the brush. You get more coverage with a brush, but it also can tend to cake up on your skin just a little bit. So try using a sponge, and in that way you can get an easy application. And I would say try to keep this at like light to medium coverage, a sort of medium coverage, but don't try to build it over medium coverage. because right now it's more than an hour since I filmed the demo video, and I can see that the foundation is sort of clinging onto my skin in weird places, and on certain places it's sitting really well, but on places where I usually have dryness or lines or something like that, it's like just clinging onto it. Like the lines on my forehead, you can just see it's all emphasized, and the lines over here, like my smile lines, it's like very exaggerated, and for some reason even this part looks a little bit cakey when you come really up close. Now the time is currently 12:30, and I will check back in like about 2:30 or 3 to show you guys how it looks, and I can show you guys how it's gonna look on the skin. So I'm back, and it's currently about 3:34, so it's been a good 4 hours since I've actually applied this foundation and let it rest on my skin. I've not been sitting idly in one place. I have some work to do, so I just went out and came, stuff like that. So it's wearing pretty well. It's not like it's not a long wearing foundation. It's wearing pretty well. It's not faded away in places. It's not looking like it's going to fade away anytime soon as well. Now that could be because I have normal skin, and I'm not someone who sweats it all on my face, and I'm not living in a hot humid climate. If you are living in any hot humid climate and you are someone with oily skin, I would recommend definitely setting this foundation to keep it in place. Otherwise it can tend to melt down, especially if you are out and about a lot. So I haven't set my foundation, and I don't really like to set my foundation at all. I've not set any of my foundations because I have normal to dry skin, especially now that we are approaching winters. It is a little too dry, so that's the reason I really don't like to set it, because it tends to make it a little too dry and kind of emphasize all the dry patches on my skin. Now, if you just look at my skin like this, you can't make out if it's like wearing well or whatever. So I will insert a clip that I took on my phone in natural light to show you guys how it's sitting. Now towards the perimeters of my face and around places where I don't really have texture or dry skin, it's actually looking really nice. It's also sitting pretty well. But on places where I have texture or a little bit of dryness, it's actually sort of caking up, and I can see a sort of weird product buildup, which I do face with most of the Lakme foundations. Even the Argan Oil foundation that I reviewed I think a year ago, I had the same problem, but that one was cakey all over. But this one is sitting pretty well for the rest of my face, but just this part and my forehead lines, it's kind of building up really weird, and it's pretty prominent. It's not something that I am noticing because I'm looking too close and coming really close to my face, and that's why I can see it. So I don't think this foundation is for people with a lot of texture on their skin or for people with dry skin. This foundation would be amazing for people with oily skin, is what I feel. And even the name suggests that it's a matte foundation, but it's a very long wearing foundation, and the primer infused in it I feel like helps the product, and it's not fading away really soon or anything of that sort. And the claim is that it's a medium to high coverage foundation, but I would suggest even if you are of oily skin, keep this to medium coverage and you would really like how it looks on your skin. So it's a really nice foundation for a certain skin type, but for my skin and for people with dry skin, I don't recommend this foundation at all, because I have other foundations, even Maybelline Fit Me, which is of the similar price range, which I really like. And I like my PAC foundation, which is around 800 rupees, but that one looks so natural and flawless on my skin. I've worn that for a lot of special occasions, so that is something that I really like. And also this foundation photographs really well. It doesn't have like any crazy white cast in flash photography. From the picture that I have clicked, I could see that there was not a major difference in my skin, and I don't find my skin looking the best when I use a lot of white lights and flashlights. And it also does come with an SPF of 20 in it, but I've not found it to have crazy flashbacks, even though it does come with an SPF of 20. So yeah, even though it was not my favorite, I really got to appreciate Lakme for coming up with really good shade range at last. Even though it's better late than never, so I'm really glad that they did that. And with so many people speaking up about the shade range, I think it finally worked, and they have taken that input really seriously and come out with so many different shade ranges, which I'm really happy about. And I'm really happy that they took that input and put it into action. So that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Do let me know if you've tried this foundation out or you're planning to pick this one up, and what are your thoughts on Lakme extending the shade range. Don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. You can keep up with me, and also don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. I've been uploading certain videos on my IGTV and also on my Instagram feed, lip swatches, and everything you'd be interested in. So that'll be, I think, a win-win for both of us, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.